Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tech Productions today. Bankrupt joined again by Nick and Fluff.
I'm popular this week.
What's up, beautiful people?
In today's matchup, well, it's Nick versus Fluff, and this one's actually a little bit different. They changed their decks in the last round, so we got Flip Boys taking on Pan. Like always, there's buttons, links. Check them out, guys. Get into it.
Yeah, before the game, we looked at each other and we were like, "This doesn't matter." Fluff was like, "So, this is why we switched decks."
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Let's talk about a little bit about Flip Boys. I don't think it's been seen on the channel yet.
As of right of recording, it hasn't because I had to fix the audio on my end.
Dang. Okay. Well, this might be the first time coming up. So Flip Boys, what it wants to do, it wants to flip, believe it or not. It's a pretty aggressive style deck. It has some forms of summoning sickness where on some of the cards to play them, you have to pick a Goku or Vegeta, and it cannot restand during your charge phase. But you have some cards and ways to get around sickness. And then the leader itself kind of behaves like launch, where whenever it's used in a battle, it'll flip. And then the backside, the Vegeta side, only has a limit ones. Essentially, offensive and defensively, it'll get to a point where you stay on your Vegeta. And then both sides of the leaders have ways to buff Goku's and Vegetas during the battle step. So you get really good numbers. And you'll see that in this game too. I'm able to get some pretty good pressure out pretty cheaply and go pretty tall for.
Yeah, that's Pan's strategy. Is everything pretty much costs one energy? Play buff off leader, draw, turn cardboard sideways. There's nothing particularly complicated about the deck itself. It just runs good red cards.
Yeah, how do you feel about Pan now, given that red is not white? Oh, I mean white, at least, since there's not two known offenders.
The deck doesn't really do anything that I would consider to be like disgusting or unfair. It's just a really fair deck. If you have a problem with one of the battle cards getting up to like 35,000 or something like that, just negate the card in question. And then it's going to be a bunch of 15 or 20k attacks after that. On your first turn there, you got a crit off, which I have to take. I think you comboed it up pretty high. 29k, I believe it was. So I definitely wasn't going to dedicate cards in hand to that. So definitely taking the crit there.
Yeah, with a lot of decks these days, almost all having some form of alternate awaken where you take your own life anyway. Those first 2 to 3 life don't matter at all. But if I can get a crit in to make you not get that in hand, I feel like that's a win on my, just because you're going to take that life no matter. But if you don't get access to that resource, it's going to make it harder for you to do much later in the game.
Yeah, for sure. And it's either lose that one card or come out 4 cards from my hand. So it just mathematically makes more sense to just take that crit, especially after you put the fascia into it.
Yeah. And here we also run Zarbons. The reason I put that Zarbon on this Vegeta is battle cards is pretty much the key to the deck doing all the pressure. The leader does things, but it mostly is supporting for the battle cards. And in my testing and plays, most people swing at the to get on board. So using that Zarbon to restand them is give them some protection. You have to actually use a.
When you restood that Vegeta, I saw that you wanted to protect that Vegeta. So I was like, okay, I think the key here is going to be getting rid of the Vegeta. So we're going to go into Trio of Sands, swing, activate auto, and neg out that Vegeta.
Yeah, which is the right play to do. Having the 15k crit pressure, potentially 20k every swing, is one of the linchpin deck. Having that constant crit aggression, forcing the opponent to respect every swing, having to have a response.
And there was no point to swing with the leader. I think you were at 15k on yours. Mine is at 10k. Doesn't get a draw on swing. And I would just have to dedicate some resource in hand to deal with it. And then here, you do a really good job of cleaning up my field. Or at least the more threatening of the two cards, so...
Yeah, and now that Pan doesn't have the buff anymore, it's literally just a 15k body, so it doesn't mean... And being able to play that Goku Vegeta really... just for the fact that it can negate skills, then KO the battle. So if it has some type of protection effect like Frieza Swap has, I can just still pop that back and get it.
Yeah. Pan has a really awkward alternate awakening condition where you either have to be at 4 life or you have to dedicate 3 cards to the Z battle cards. The problem is that a lot of the cards that you would combo play themselves after they're comboed. So if you were to combo those off, they don't go into your Z energy, they're going to get played. And having them play is more valuable, which is why I said I feel like this deck is more on the fair line. There's no motivator for you to actually combo and put stuff into the Z energy. Like here I am at 4 life, and I think I'm only at 2 Z energy.
Yeah. Now, how much do you value that defensive play?
Which one?
The Z battle card that was...
I don't value it that much.
Really?
It can come into it can come into like relevancy here or there. Here I was just thinking I caught up late in my turn and I wanted to Beerus Ball this Vegeta, but I resolved the Pan's auto first. But I should have Beerus Balled before resolving the Pan's auto. Just thinking through things, I kind of got ahead of myself. I had the Beerus Ball in hand. I did not draw it off the Pan's auto.
And I allowed it. Again, low stakes. It doesn't matter. It would have changed things tremendously, but...
But yeah, that Z battle card, it's good, and it can be a great way to close up and round out the game, but it doesn't matter that much.
Okay.
Because the deck is, I mean, the card is really good. If you can like play it when your opponent's like 5 life, get them down to 4, and then swing 2 threatening double strikes at your opponent that are going to neg 2 cards out on the swing, it's really good. But generally, Pan wants to just storm, and that Goku is of a higher investment cost for the deck.
Makes sense.
That surging attack Brawly is huge. Being able to swing with the big bodied crit and then activate Overlord on the leader, bottom deck it to get another draw. It just keeps the deck moving.
We had Vegeta board. We could have stopped it, but it is what it is. Yeah. So here, defensively for Flip Boys, it's kind of interesting because whenever the Vegeta side, the backside is or using a battle, you get to draw and flip it over as a limit 1, and then the Goku side will always flip back when it's used in a battle. So it's really easy to kind of get stuck on some points because your opponent can control what side you end. Yeah. And also depending on what effect you've used to play out some of your 2-drops, that could be a detriment to you because, for instance, the crit Vegeta, it has to select a Goku to not stand, to not switch to active mode during your charge phase. If you end on my Goku side, swing once, flip me over, and then don't swing again at it, then I don't get to restand my. So the opponent does get some sequencing there, but in the end, depending on the matchup, it's not really going to matter, especially like in this game right now where my board's pretty light. I don't really have too much. Swinging at the lead is the best because one swing is one swing versus winning the game is an obvious choice.
We're both doing a really good job of keeping our fields clear. I'm no longer worried about this Vegeta sitting on the field, so I'm not going to go out of my way to pop it. I may pop it, I may not pop it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to pop it. I know that you probably run the Z Battle Card Goku to restand it.
Yes.
But that's a pretty high investment for you to go into.
Yeah, I like to use it as a late game option. Like if it's in the point where you're tapped out, say I'm under floodgate like imposing presence or that, I just need a double strike to go through. That's the time I usually card. But I also run Zarbons for that instant.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the turn, like when you're out of options, tapped out, final swing. That's when I will usually Zarbon or cheat it. Ready for turn.
Here you put me under Nimbus, so it felt like I was playing in like set 5 again, and I felt dumb for swinging with lead first.
Yeah, defensively, this deck is more glass cannon, so I wanted to put some more attack in the deck. I don't run robotic riposte because I feel like it's a little too slow, and I don't extra cards. So my main floodgates are in the Vegeta, and then you can see in my energy, I also run the Black Command just in case the board gets out of control and I can't control it. I can tap it too.
Yeah, for sure. And here I'm really just trying to bait cards out of your hand. I'm swinging in with a big double strike. It's already pumped up. And if you don't bait cards out of your hand, you go down to 1 life, which puts you in a really precarious position moving into the next turn, especially if I see another surging attack Brawly or my secret rare or something like that. You're just in a dangerous spot. But I'm not a hyperly defensive deck myself, so if you go really heavy in on this turn, there's a chance I just don't survive.
Yeah, the only problem with that, at least from I was definitely lower on the hand advantage. I think my hand was about 5, maybe 6 cards, and you were about 8. So I was really on the back foot on this case. So, and I had to pretty much take the double strike because I didn't have any combos. I had no way. I wanted to just keep it, go. And at this point, essentially, it's to the point in the game where I either win this turn or I lose. Like, there's no way I can really clap. So at this point, I'm kind of just saying, fuck it. Let's just go all show what the deck can do. If he stops it, he stops. That's.
Yeah, I was a little nervous because you still have 3 energy open, and I just don't know how aggressive you can be. I gave you a few cards in your hand from your life, so your hand was lower, but it kind of got a re-up from my aggro from the turn.
Yeah. So here, essentially with these swings, before I play most, I'm trying to bait a negate or mostly a floodgate because that's where this deck usually shines, especially going into the Z deck to get the Whis battle card. If your opponent floodgates, you can just go into the Whis, skip all turns, floodgates are turned off, and then you go back in. But with your 2 energy up, didn't have enough. I wasn't essentially safe to do mostly anything. And as you can see here, with the Vegeta, I do have the option to put a red card, but I choose not to pop that Gohan for the reason that card has unique. And since you have one in your energy, I'm assuming you have more. So I am going to keep that on the board because that means nothing.
I had all 4.
Yes. So I'm really glad I didn't do it. And so here we play Boma, which will reduce the cost of the WC battle card to 1. So this will get me down to the energy cost I need to play the Whis. And I was explaining essentially how the card works. So it skips my end phase, Fluff's entire phase, my charge phase, and goes back to my.
So I got a quick question on this particular. Let's say timing. I know you kind of explained you were trying to bait out certain negates, but if you would have Whis before the Majin Vegeta swing, his blocker would have lost blocker.
Yeah, which was a misplay.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure okay.
But I mean, I don't think it would have meant much because, granted, look at his hand.
No, it's definitely all battle cards for sure, which means it's very high combo power. And you did mention you're low on hand right now. There's a little tidbit I think, cause I was playing beside you guys in this match, and I think I heard Fluff say "Why did you do that?"
Yeah, and I knew at this point that there wasn't really going because I have no way to defend myself on it. one. So
Yeah.
I just pretty much wanted to just expand again, show what the deck can, and then basically.
I also felt like if I took this first damage, I was dead, no matter what. So I had to combo out of this attack.
Yeah, because this Goku is a dual attacker, so he does get the second shot, or he can go for a second turn, and I also you'll see it in just a second, which is one of the reasons why I gave up. But I am running.
I just realized you reset it into Pan's abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it can bite you in the ass, but in this case, again, what I was mentioning was I wanted to get this one damage through because I do have other Goku dual attacker that essentially takes 2 of your own energy and so you can play it for free and get another dual attacker off. So essentially, I was trying to get 3 more swing to go for the game, but we can't.
Yeah, there's the Goku and then Beerus Bomb. Yeah.
Essentially, I asked him, "Do you have Beerus Bomb?" And he said yes.
Fair enough.
And I showed it for the camera, and I was trying to essentially say, "All right, this is the end." And I'm at this point, I think I'm actually standing in the chair with the camera.
You're standing in the chair, and you're like, just fucking swing.
We just saw you wave at him, like, just swing it.
Just swing. We just need to end it. Because, again, I had nothing in hand, so there was no point.
Yeah.
And with that being said, they opportunity. Oh, go on, Fluff.
Nick still had like 6 cards in hand, so I didn't know if there was a negate or a floodgate in there somewhere. So we had to play it out, even though Nick was certain it was over. We still had to play it out.
Well, we were tapped out, and it was all cards that, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
With that being said, thank you for the opportunity. Keep on those buttons, links, check them out. Bye.